So we looked at a couple of home console Godzilla games, and we can see for ourselves that Godzilla is a mixed bag. He's got a good game and some bad games, mostly bad. But what about the portable versions? Surely they can't be all bad, right? Let's go ahead and check out a bunch of them now, starting with everybody's favorite game, Godzilla on Game Boy. Oh. We first get to see the roll call, and I'll say this, the monsters look pretty good. Baragon looks a little derpy, but otherwise it's pretty neat to see such details on such a tiny screen. Alright, what the fuck happened to the grammar here, guys? Hedra? Anguillus? Ghidra? Did anyone proofread this shit? Alright, that's enough out of me for that. But how's the game? As I said before, it's a puzzler in which your end goal for some fucking reason is breaking every rock you see and choosing an exit. I don't know if there's a correct exit, but choose one anyway and just go. The story is Godzilla's son has been captured by your friends, as told in this little blurb in the manual. The goal is to find him in the labyrinth and beat the game. As mentioned before, this is based on Godziland, a TV show in Japan that took inspiration from Hello Kitty, it seems. It was never broadcast to American TV, so unless you somehow had a way of figuring out this information without the internet, this to you was supposed to be the Godzilla we knew and loved. Now, while I enjoyed the look and overall quality of the television series that you can easily find on YouTube now, the game itself is a pile of garbage. First off, Godzilla walks so slow, and I'm so sick and tired of saying that with every single Godzilla game I ever review. Look, I know he's supposed to be a kaiju. They don't exactly move at the speed of sound. But, you know, why does he look like he's taking a Sunday stroll instead of frantically looking for his son like he should be? I don't know about you, but if my son was taken by random assholes that were supposed to be my friends, I'd be much more angry about it. Secondly, remember how Godzilla has that thing he likes to shoot from his mouth? I don't know, I think it was called the atomic breath? Yeah, well, don't expect it in this game. Instead, how about a boxing glove out of his mouth? What?
You want a piece of me?
Look, I know Game Boy graphics aren't exactly high fidelity, but don't tell me they couldn't animate him raising his fucking fist! Your frenemies aren't any better. Rodan flaps his arms, Hedorah just kinda waddles left to right, and Mechagodzilla, well, he strangely enough has the only appropriate walking graphic, despite being so small. It's a mess, but the mess that you should be getting angry at is the game itself. As mentioned in the story, your goal is to break boulders, right? Well, instead of just punching them into pieces, your punch only pushes them from side to side. Once they're pushed up against another rock or a wall, that's when they're allowed to break. Oh, good. Because of this, you can accidentally push the boulder that you needed to break into an unwinnable state. I did this a lot of times and had to restart the level. You know, how about instead of breaking the boulders, why couldn't we just fight the monsters that are coming at us? Isn't that what Godzilla was meant to do? You know, fight the fucking monsters? What does he do in the movies? Fight the monsters. He doesn't break blocks. What do you think this is, Super fucking Mario? No, of course not. Push fucking boulders. It doesn't even make sense, as the last boulder you break apparently allows the exit to appear out of nowhere. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's because I suck at this game, but these kind of games never held my attention for very long. What about the other monsters? Can you beat them up? Yes, you can. Your fist will knock out pretty much everybody minus Hedorah, which you need to drop a rock on his head in order to get rid of him. But don't expect it to last very long, as every monster will respawn in a matter of seconds. Great! So not only does it not matter if I beat up the monsters, they come back for seconds! And thirds! Just what I fucking needed. As you can tell, I didn't get very far. Sorry, Vanilla, I guess I'm just gonna have to let you rot in this labyrinth. Now, apparently the Japanese version was changed up a little bit, so let's just go ahead and take a quick look at it now, just get it out of the way. Well, color me shocked. For one, the opening cutscene is completely gone. Instead, you had this cutesy, lovable Godzilla that came with the show. All in a little jacket, too. He runs much faster, and now Hedorah can be punched to move past him. He'll just get back up, but at least it's a lot easier moving around the board without him trying to pester me all the time. The story was a little different, too. Instead of your son, you're going after a girl Godzilla named Bijira. So pretty much it's your run-of-the-mill save the girl story, so just about every Mario game ever. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I'm not sure if there was any reason to change it here. In fact, I think I'd probably prefer it. Now, you could argue that because she wasn't in any of the movies, or even the games we knew of at the point, we were trying not to risk confusing the player with a brand new character. Even then, I still think it would have been fine keeping her. Although that sprite, oh, Jesus Christ. Were they trying to make everybody scalies? Anyway, I think I've had enough of this. While the Japanese Godzilla plays better, it's still Godzilla on Game Boy. You might as well put a band-aid on a tumor. Not too far off into the future, the Game Boy Color would eventually be released to the public in 1998. It was a huge success with the likes of games such as Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, the second generation of Pokemon, which is my personal favorite, and other excellent titles that, for me, still hold up to this day. I could be reviewing those. What the hell am I doing? Anyway, now a little later into the same year, we'd also get another Godzilla movie. To a lot of people, apparently, this movie was absolute dog water, but for somebody like me, I've come to appreciate what it tried to do. Now, we're not here to review the movie. If you're really interested in what it has to offer, just go on Netflix and watch it, you know? We're here to look at the games that it spawned, starting with Godzilla The Series that was launched in 1999, a full year after the movie. Booting up the game, we see some fantastic animations. No joke when I say that I was shocked that something like this was even launched on the Game Boy Color of all things. Just remember, the Game Boy Color wasn't too big a step from the original. It wasn't using dot matrix graphics anymore, it was sleeker, and it added color to your games. I'm pretty sure that's the most important. Looking at the opening for this, it just looks so fucking smooth. The music isn't half bad either. Hopefully the rest of the game has a bitchin' soundtrack. Well, that was short-lived. Playing the actual game, there's no music to speak of. All you hear is the droning of Godzilla's steps. I'll say the animation is still impressive, but without any kind of music to go along with it, it just feels hollow. Don't tell me they couldn't put any music on the cartridge. This game plays a lot like that one minigame in Bart's Nightmare on Super Nintendo. You know the one. The Godzilla minigame where you're just pressing buttons to fire at random trains, tanks, and army men. Yeah, it's basically just that, but that's the whole game. I don't mind having something like that. It's just pretty much an on-rail shooter, but just stuck to its y-axis. The problem is there's no crosshair to tell you where you're aiming. You just gotta know from where Godzilla's looking to fire there. Even then, it's hard to get a feel for. Throwing fireballs isn't the only thing Godzilla can do, as he can extend his claws, tail whip, and do a curb stomp on a motherfucker. But the whole time you're just shooting at helicopters, little army people, tanks, and that's about it. It's just Godzilla taking his Sunday stroll, only this time with no music. Nothing to get you in the mood, and God, that's so fucking boring. The smooth animations don't even hold up for that long either. The biggest problem is that Godzilla feels incredibly slow again. Since you're not moving him yourself, he's moving from left to right on his own terms, and all you gotta do is worry about the oncoming assault. I mean, the game is okay, but with the slow speed, with no soundtrack, you're gonna get bored relatively quick. It also doesn't help that this game is incredibly easy. I only died maybe once or twice, but that was because I was still getting a feel for the controls. Once you understand what you're doing, this game is a cakewalk. While Godzilla takes his Sunday walk, you'll find that every so often the screen tells you that a move leveled up. You'll get extra health along with a more powerful version of that attack, mainly just something that hits harder, doesn't change visually. It sucks, I'm honestly running out of things to say about this. Not even the first mini-boss has anything genuine to offer. That isn't to say the game is entirely boring, you do get to fight other kaiju later on, but it feels so lacking. Maybe with a music track or something it could have been just a little more exciting. In November of 2000, Godzilla The Series would get a sequel, Godzilla Monster Wars. It's pretty much the same game, but a lot of things that I had a problem with are fixed here. For one, there's actually a crosshair now. I can actually see where I'm aiming at, making it much more helpful when shooting the tinier enemies on the ground. The difficulty was even bumped up from a 1 to a 2 with the regenerating HP gone. You can now find pickups for your level ups as well as your health after beating random enemies. Now, aside from that, the game is pretty much the same. There's still no stage music up until we get to the first boss. Whoa! Actual game music! Now that's what I'm talking about. See, now it actually feels like a fight. Sadly, the first boss isn't anything to write home about, but hey, I at least appreciate listening to something while I'm fighting. Now, I'm sure there's more to these two games, but for now, I think it's best we continue to our last game. This time for the Game Boy Advance. Ah, the GBA. I can't tell you how many great games are on this little dude, there's just too many, but you had your usual stuff like Pokemon, the Mario ports from the Super Nintendo, my personal favorite being the Donkey Kong Country line of games. You even had Sonic making his debut on here, but let's just forget about all that now, because I have here what could very much be the best portable Godzilla game I've ever played. Godzilla Domination was launched by Infogrames and published by Atari in 2002. It takes a page from the other Pipeworks-era Godzilla games that you can find on the GameCube, the PS2, and the Xbox, but puts it in the palm of your hands. Now you may be wondering how that's even possible, but people have said it before, and I'll say it here. The Game Boy Advance was basically a portable Super Nintendo, and offered stuff like Mode 7 and graphics just as good as its older brother. The only problem is, certain games had to have the color contrast bumped up to an uncomfortable degree because back then, we didn't even have a backlit screen. We wouldn't have one until later when we got the Worm Light, and then finally when we got the Game Boy Advance SP model. Even then, it was still tough to see. Even the Game Gear offered a backlit screen, but that's enough out of me. Anyway, what we have here is a game that not only sounds great, but plays great too! Think of it as SNK's King of the Monsters, a game where you were essentially playing a wrestling game but with kaiju, only this time Godzilla characters are involved. You got your obvious picks like Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Mothra, and we also have monsters like Rodan, Megalon, and Mechagodzilla. The story goes that an asteroid is seen from space and all the monsters except the one you chose are going nuts. Apparently the asteroid is doing something to their brain, so they get extra pissed off and start destroying everything. It's up to you to beat each monster back, or in some cases tag team with another monster to beat them, and save the day! Not exactly Shakespearean writing, but hey, so long as I get to beat up something, I'm good. Each level is a fight between 1, 2, or 3 monsters. As I said before, you occasionally team up with another monster to take your enemies down, but don't expect that to last. Each level kinda has its own rules. You'll fight on various locations on Earth, as well as outer space on what looks like a space city on the moon. You even get to worry about stuff like gravity, but I find it very fun to jump around with. Even the fattest Godzilla can feel like a basketball player now! You've got your kicks, your punches, your tail slaps, but if you press the attack button and hold it, your character starts flashing. You then get to do a superpower attack, which can knock your enemies down. This is kind of easy to manipulate, as each time your opponent gets knocked down, you have enough time to charge it back up again, so you can just knock them back down. Rinse and repeat, and you pretty much see how every fight lasts. Aside from that little problem, this game feels fucking awesome! The only weird thing about the controls is your jump is attached to your shoulder button, but you know what, that's small potatoes compared to what we've played before. Honestly, this is one of the best Godzilla games I've played on a portable anything, and I'm just shocked that it's taken this long to give us a worthwhile experience. We've come a long way since then, and whether or not these games are good to you or not, it's entirely up to interpretation. Me, I think I'll just stick with everything but the original Game Boy game. Nothing to the people who actually enjoy a good puzzle every now and then, but you know what? Godzilla deserves so much more. As far as Godzilla goes, there's still a few other games left, some that never even made it to the USA, so next episode we're gonna go ahead and take a look at those games. Were they so good they should've came to the States? Or were they so bad we wouldn't want them in the first place? We'll find out next time, but before I go, I just wanted to say thank you ever so much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed what I had to offer, there's a couple more episodes for you to watch, and if you want to be really awesome, I have a Patreon open for your consideration. Anyway, I'll catch you on the flip side.